Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Cultist back again with another turn-based combat video. Not sure which part this is, I forget. Apologies in advance for the air conditioner. Today we're going to be working on health bars and turn taking. We'll get quite a bit done today. One thing I want you to do is click on all the puppets, make sure they're labeled friend, and make sure they're non-collidable with foes. Click on all the foes and make sure, of course, that they're labeled foe and that they are non-collidable with friends. Alright, so now that that's done, we're gonna go to our character chip. Let's see, where is it? Here it is, characters. And we're gonna make a little health bar indicator. P1. That should do the trick. You can have it be anything you want, just so long as it sticks out and it's memorable. This is going to be the stats, I suppose. Alright, so let's get to work, now that we put down that little microchip. Gonna take this, label it HP. And of course it's gonna be HP. Now we're gonna play real quick. Press play so we can see where everything's gonna be. Alright. I might leave the shadow on. Put the shadow opacity on high, softness not so much. Alright. That's going to be our HP indicator. And we're going to copy this out, put it right here, and make a slash mark. And get rid of the H, of course. Slash mark. It's going to be important later. And we're going to take out a counter. And we're going to check out our character's health. This is going to be player 1's health. So first thing is first. He has 100 HP. So we're going to set it to 100. Now that's done, a quick tip for copying out settings is just do this, set it to white, turn off this, and it will just mirror that for the other one if you want all the exact settings. And that way you can get it roughly the same style as before. I might change the look of it. I want some very specific... That looks about right to me. That's going to be our max HP, so just go ahead and label it max if you want to. This is going to be our current HP, so let's label it current. This is mainly just for, I might put it up there. That might be a more conservative way of using space. Okay, so that's the max. 100, 100. Now we're going to be putting out another microchip, which will indicate our current health level. And we're just going to set down a keyframe in advance. We won't be recording anything on it just yet. Stamp out a text displayer. G, as usual. It's my favorite way to do it. You don't have to do it that way. Turn down text opacity. Turn off shadow. Turn off borders. Set to dark. We might need a little bit more G. G. Alright. That's it. Nice and thin. Might be too thin. But this is going to be our HP bar for player 1. Also, don't forget to set these layers sort order to 3. And I'm going to set this other one to 4 so it appears on top. Okay, now we're going to record on the keyframe and set the color to green. We're going to set the size to this. Now that that's turned off, let's go ahead and shrink this down. Oh, wait a minute. Let's play real quick so that both of them are operable. And we have a guide for how small we want to shrink it. Alright, that should do nicely. Now all we're going to do is take out a little node. And you're going to have to go into the character's individual health managers and go to remaining health percentage. Stick it in there. And you might as well stick this in here so that we have the current HP indicated. Now to test and make sure that it's working, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Yep, seems to be working just fine. Alright. Now we're going to do this for the other characters as well. We might as well do it because it's going to be important later anyway. Luckily there's not a whole lot that has to be modified, you just have to move some things down. Might move that 100 up just a little bit. Doesn't need to be low down like that. You can really align this any way you please. This just so happens to be my particular bent when it comes to designing this sort of thing. Be sure you're recording when you move that position. Hopefully this thing we can get a hold of it and pull it down. It's kind of difficult when it's that size. But I think we got a hold of it. Yep, it seems to be working. And let's go ahead and copy out P3, which is Valerie Hudson. Get that out of the way. And of course, if you have more than one character, you're going to want to organize this way differently. This is mainly with only 3 characters maximum in mind, which is a good solid party in most RPGs. You can have more than that though, you could do this for 4 characters or more. It's always getting a hold of it that's the big hurdle. Once you get it though, it's pretty nice. Alright. Now all we have to do is just connect their health managers. There's Home Vegeta all done with. And let's get Valerie Hudson. This should do it. Alright. All maximum HP is ready. Now we're going to be moving on to a different set of things. We're going to add some hurt and some death animations to all of our characters, which hopefully should be pretty quick. This is in preparation for later, so I'm just going to copy out this microchip, label it Death. You could also call it D, I suppose. Or H, if you want to simplify things. This is just going to control when your character is hurt. Make them do a little animation. Just take currently losing health, connect it right to this input. And hurt animations are incredibly easy. Just set this to linear blend, copy this out, put one in the middle, and just do like a little something like this. You can do however you want. It's all about implication of being hurt. Let's see how that plays out. Yeah, that's good enough. Alright, now for the death animation. This is going to require some slightly different stuff. Set to play once, by the way. Remember to set them to play once. You can change the color too if you want them to be more memorable, but it's not really necessary. Also, in advance, stick out a counter. We're going to need that later. Now this is going to be his death animation. You can take off precise move. A little bit overly dramatic, but I think we can work with it. Now there may be an instance in which you can revive the character, depending on what kind of RPG you're making, so we may have to undo the death animation later, but this is just the basics of what you'd be going for. And we'll do one more where he's flat. Alright, let's give it a test. And we're going to shut off all his animations with this keyframe, which might make things run smoother. And we're going to go ahead and turn off the procedural animations. Stamp out a microchip. copy these two things out. This is going to make more sense later. Hook the counter up. Take out a switch, and this will basically make the animation stay permanently on. Oh, another thing we're going to want to do is make it so that when this turns on, take out a NOT gate, connect this to the NOT gate, and connect the NOT gate to his label, so that when he's dead, his label is no longer active, and that will make more sense later. Alright, now that we're done with that, we're just going to go ahead and copy it out to the other characters. Hopefully this will be fairly quick. Oh, and don't forget to take this wire out of there, which is the no health wire, and stick it in the death input. We're going to do some reanimating, of course. Not in the Herbert West sense, but in the Walt Disney sense. A good go-to for making people look like they're wounded or dying is to have them grasp their arm and lean their head in forward. We're going to do something similar with the death animation, of course. And we're going to go ahead and delete all these just for quicker usage. The big sword is kind of awkward and difficult to work with, but I'm sure we can get it going correctly. Just kind of pull him forward. Make him look outward as if he's gasping for one last breath or something of that nature. Now this may not look all that good in practice, but I'm not really concerned with that. It's more about showing you just the basics of how it can be constructed rather than like any, you know, like definitely have to make it like this is not what I am implying. It's all about just getting the motifs across. And as before, we're going to lay him flat on the ground. Alright, quick thing we're going to do, check the wires running out of this because we don't want those hanging up our other character. And as before, we're going to turn off procedural animations. And we're going to turn these off too. Delete these and just copy out this. Stick it in there. Right as rain. Stick this in the label, of course. That's going to be important later. You'll understand why. And of course, take the no health. Stick it in that node, as like so. Lastly, we're going to do Valerie Hudson. Hopefully this won't take too long. Right, let's see. Just delete that middle one. It's a lot simpler. I'm not really sure how she should be. That is, yeah, that looks damaged. Go ahead and do this ahead of time. And we might as well do all of that animation stuff ahead of time as well. Of course, let's go ahead and press triangle on him. Turn off all those pesky things that might interrupt us. We don't want these things carrying over to the other characters if possible, so always be sure to either delete the wires or just, you know, manually delete it with a triangle. Delete the recording, that is. And, this is going to be her death animation. It's going to be kind of hard to grab her. There we go. Let's see how that looks. Now it's a lot faster than I would have liked, but let's check it again. I think that will do for now. She just wilts up on destruction. Copy these. Alright, that's all the death animations out of the way, as far as we're concerned. Let's go ahead and close these so they don't clutter things up too much. Now we're going to go into our, which one is it? Character select, I believe. Yes, character select. And we're going to stamp out a chip. And we're going to take all of these, might as well stamp out several more. Gonna take all of these keyframes as well as their nodes and stick them right on there. There's a very important reason for this. Oh, we forgot the middle one. Now we're going to take out a zone. Set it to label, set it to square, set it so that it only detects friends. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to make it so that you can only take turns when the character is alive. That's why we put that not gate in their label earlier. That's to shut it off when they're dead, so that they no longer trigger the turn-taking sequence. Just go ahead and dupe them out. This next one should be for Holmes. Dupe it again. This one should be for Valerie. That means turns can only be taken when they're on. And we're going to take a quick... Oh. He's already dead. We must have forgotten to connect... Oh. We didn't forget to connect anything. It was really strange. Well, it doesn't seem to be happening anymore. But let's go ahead and test a quick attack to make sure everything's playing alright. Now, of course, we're going to have to do something about those HP markers. They cannot be active during combat. I think the simplest way to address this problem is just to have a good old selector. Set the A output to their power. And we'll just make it so that this thing triggers the B output. And when it's all over, which I believe is in turn character select, I think it is. Well, let's not worry about that right now. Turning off the HUD is a minuscule problem at the moment, so let's just leave that as it is. We're going to fix that later. Alright. Now what is important is that we have a NOT gate in character select. Put this down, label it turn taking, stick a NOT gate within. Just go ahead and take this counterful output B, and counterful output in the C slot. That should do nicely. Then take a little node just for cleanness. Then take out a little timeline and stick this right in here. Stick that right in there. Press it to play once. Alright. And we're going to have a little tag on this. And you want to set it quite far ahead on the timeline. It's going to be labeled... I believe it's enemy go. Here we go, enemy go. Stick it ahead further, as I said before. And basically, when all your turns are done taking, this will trigger the enemies to begin their attack. And we're going to do another quick thing before we go on to enemy attacks, and we're going to label this tag P3. This is going to allow the AI to pick a specific target from the party. Now put it ahead a bit, because this is where the AI is going to be standing relative to your character, so you want to kind of move it out just a little bit. Put it right below the attack chip, excuse me. All right there. This is a P1 after all. And of course, Holmes Vegeta is P2. And that should settle that. Now we're going to go on to the AI, or the enemy characters. We're going to make a quick weapon for them to use. It shouldn't take a whole lot of effort. It's going to be very simplistic. Basically just a glorified stick. Also kind of looks like a Lego accessory, I guess you could call it. Make sure to make it non-collidable. Group those together. And we're going to start by, before we go on with this, we're going to take out a little cube, make it red. I'm going to set it to stamp shape. This is going to be our AI control chip, which basically serves the function of making all of our AI actions happen the way they're supposed to. I suppose you can choose the order in which you want them to occur. Let's label this enemy actions. And you can copy these guys out later if you want to get them all with swords and not, have to bother, scoping in and doing all that kind of stuff. Now we're just going to go ahead and put this out here, set it to play once, and we're going to make it purple so that's very memorable. And this is going to be called Return. Set it to play once, copy 3 of them. This will make more sense later. I guess we might as well put something in them before we copy them, but basically we're going to have a little switch in here. And what this thing does as well as this is it's going to send our little character back to where he's supposed to be. We're going to label this tag return. This is pretty much the position in which we'll want him. But anyway, now we can copy these out, now that they have the things inside them. And we can take out a zone, which is going to be a trigger zone, set to detect a tag, and it's going to detect enemy... enemy go. Set the zone to in scene. Stamp out a node. Connect this to the node. Very simple indeed. Just take out a timeline. Stick it like this. Set it to play once. And this part is something that's customizable, but basically this is going to decide the order in which your enemy attacks, like which one goes first, and all that good stuff. You can even add an element of randomization, but we're going to set out a microchip and label it attacks. It's going to be very similar to the microchip we made for our human people, our player characters. We're just going to go ahead and stick this right in there, because that's where it's going to go anyway. And now we're going to begin on the AI's attacks. It's going to be quite simple. Take out a follower. Set it to full strength. Set it to attack P1. That's going to be the tag it'll be seeking out. P2, and P3. And you may be wondering, Jimmy, what are you doing with all of these followers? Well, it's quite simple. These are the different chances the enemy has to target a player. And when a player is dead, we'll probably have to make corrections to this, but for now we're just going to make it so it can attack all of them. This is a randomizer. It has lots of different settings, but I'm just going to leave it on its base setting. A output to this one, B output to this one, C output to this one. In the power, of course. Don't put it in the speed. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and stick out a little handy-dandy timeline, which is going to be purple. Pull this in real quick. And we're going to put an attack on this timeline. Go ahead and animate it. Turn off precise move, because it's not really all that useful when you're animating things. Sometimes it can be. It kind of depends on your taste, I guess. Pull this over here. Pull that over there. It's a good simple wind-up. Alright, that should be pretty good. Let's give it a little quick test just to see how it goes. It looks good. And we're going to take out this health modifier. For now, the damage is going to be quite minuscule because we don't want to kill our characters prematurely. Set it so that it only hurts friends, of course. And we're going to make the zone a cube. And make it a little closer to our puppet. We don't want him having that much range. There we go. Should do nicely. And let's pull this in so that we're not using any unnecessary space. And finally, we're going to take out one more timeline, and we're going to make this one... you can play this on sustain. It won't really matter. Sustain works at this point. I'm going to label this return. And this is basically going to serve the function of making our enemy return to his original point when he is done making an attack. So, remember to keep these in order, but basically you want this going into this. And now we can maybe give this a little try and see how it all works out. Let's all take turns, give them a good slash, and of course ignore the HP bar, we'll fix that later. You may even want that during combat, in case you have the option for the enemy to damage you even during a turn. Sometimes they have that, like they have reactions and things, so we might just figure out a way to have that play even during combat and have it look nice. Alright, there he goes, taking his turn. Now, of course, some settings are a little bit goofed up. We don't want the Y strength on at all, otherwise the character will float. Because you'll be trying to meet the level of the tag, and if the tag is off the ground, that's not really... it's not really a good thing. Let's go ahead and try it again. And finally, Valerie Hudson. They must really hate this particular fellow. But he's going to get his revenge. And as you can see, our health bar is working, and our enemy is working. And of course, we're going to want a way to reset our player turns when the whole thing is over. But that can be done quite simply. I'll label this reset. But we can't get into that until later, unfortunately, because we have to program all of our enemies' turns in order. So let's go ahead and copy these fellows out. We're going to have to reconnect their health bars, of course. Also, try to have them dead center in the circle if possible. Alright, let's go ahead really quickly and connect. Now, since we copied these fellows out, they should be working just fine. There are some things we're going to have to connect, of course. Oh, not there. There we go. We're going to, of course, have to connect these, because these are the only things that actually extend outside of the puppet. Other than the input to attack, of course. And we're just going to do them all in order, 1, 2, 3, so stick that in the attack. Kind of get rid of some of this clutter. Pull this open. And you can shorten these to play down slower. You're also going to want to time them so that they trigger after every enemy's attack. There's another way you could do this in sequence. You could potentially do it this way. After the first attack, leave that one there. You could have it so that when it plays return, at the end of the return, it plays the next enemy's attack in line. I think I'll do it that way. It might be a little less clunky, and you wouldn't have to get the timing right, so... yeah, let's go ahead and try that. We'll see if we can get our enemies to take a full cycle. Alright, let's see how this goes. First fellow goes for an attack. Random, as you can see. Second fellow should go for an attack. They really don't like Home Vegeta for some reason. Now that is not correct. But that's for a very simple reason. We have to make these return tags so that they all put the character in their right place. The middle return tag should put that fellow there, and this one on the far left should put this fellow right there. Let's go ahead and repeat the process. It seems like it's pretty much working though, other than that minor hiccup. I wonder if they'll attack Holmes all over again. Alright, let's see how this plays out. Sure enough, they're doing their thing. Except for that third fellow, he doesn't seem to be reacting. Apparently we forgot to put this in there. No matter. Now let's go back to our turn reset. We're going to call this Team Go. Similar to before, we're going to set it to in scene. This is basically going to reset all the players' abilities to take turns in a very simple way, which you would just put a switch on the timeline, and we're going to stick it in the reset port of all these things. Alright. Also, you might want to make the tag shorter, because you don't want it resetting a turn after a player takes a turn. And set it to a higher speed. Let's go ahead and go through the entire turn cycle. That's strange. Sean doesn't seem to be able to attack. Wonder what's going on now. Oh, now he can attack. I don't know what that was about. Alright. The enemy health bars hovering in place is a bit awkward, but there's ways for controlling that also. Alright, let's see if it resets all the turns. It didn't, and I think I know why. We did not put a Team Go tag in our return chip, but now it should reset. Yes, they're all back to normal. Anyway, something real quick we're gonna do. Make that invisible and non-collidable just for cleanness. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to offer in this particular video. This creation will be remixable after this video comes out, so if you want to mess around or use it in any way you see fit, feel free to do so. Check the description for information on how to find it in Dreams. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to support us, check the links in the description to our art pal and our coffee. You can also follow me on Twitter if you like Dreams content and unique and entertaining takes. In the meantime, goodbye.